Good morning and happy Tuesday. Happy to meet you Tuesday. I'm so excited to take you guys along with me today because it is the first day of summer camp. Well, not the first day, but we were supposed to be having summer camp this week. Plans got turned around. So now I'm supporting the other program, but still prepping for our program we're gonna start the next week. You just gotta be so flexible, and I'm rolling with the punches at this point. I'm eating my fruit, and then we're gonna go to the other side of the school because our school is expanding. I'm so proud of our data and just being able to get enrollment up because enrollment is tied to funding in schools. So that's amazing. And then we are going ahead and prepping for that. So it's more like parent communication, letting them know that we can't start until the 10th, which is crazy. And it's currently 8:45. Students eat breakfast from 8 to 8:30, and I'll get a second to breathe and go help support, be a servant leader wherever I can, to be honest. There's always something that needs to be done in the school. So for breakfast, I'm just eating this fruit bowl, and then I'm going to go ahead and start my day. Hey teammates, sorry I've not been the best vlogger today, but today was absolutely crazy and, to be honest, a lot of fun at my job because the school beside us is shutting down. So we are expanding our school. I don't know if I told you guys that before, but we were able to go basically get whatever we wanted out of this building next to us because they're no longer needing it, and some of their students are coming over to our school, so that's super exciting. So me and my co-lead were able to go and find stuff, basically like hidden treasure. I don't know if you guys have heard the story or the saying, like, what one man's trash is somebody else's treasure, especially when I was going to do a donor's choose for this year, like for kidney tables and stuff like that, but I was able to go find those, so that is super exciting. Hopefully you guys get some clips of that as well. And then I don't think I also showed you guys the verse of the day, which is Isaiah 61, which says, "Arise, shine, thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon thee." And it's just a great reminder that we are all here for God's glory, to bring glory to God, and none of this stuff really matters. Whether you're arguing with somebody or in a fight or don't want to forgive somebody, all that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, this is like service level stuff. So at the end of the day, just let everything you do be the glory for the Lord. We went to go get chicken boxes for lunch, but it's 3:40 now. I have an appointment with my personal trainer. Also, happy July 1st because, no, it's the 2nd. What day is it? It is Tuesday, July 2nd. And I just got a membership, a personal trainer, because I have not been the best at lifting. Going from playing basketball in college to now, like, I need that accountability. So for the next 6 months, from July to, December, or my birthday time, before I turn 24, the goal is to be toned and healthy. Really, that's the goal, to be toned and healthy, because it's a bunch of unhealthy stuff out here. I've not been doing the best and taking care of myself. And like I preach to you guys, before you can pour into somebody else's cup, you have to pour into yours. I turn the air down, so that you guys can hear me, but it's hot. Super, super hot. And right beside the place I'm at, they have a farmer's market. And you guys know I've been trying to eat healthy, and I did not meal prep this weekend. So I'm definitely going to the grocery store as soon as I get out of my personal training session. It's more like a get to know you. It's the beginning of the month. And so for the next 6 months, we're going to start a new goal or count down something together, because life is all about reinventing yourself and making sure you're becoming the best person you could be. So I wanted to also start therapy, because we all have childhood trauma that we need to heal from, but I have not been able to do that, especially since my therapist that I want to go to, I actually found her in my church. So the goal is just to become the better version of ourselves each and every day, each and every month, each and every year. So I'm about to now go in here, and I'll catch you guys afterwards, hopefully at the farmer's market. Hey teammates, it has been a few days and I have recorded this a few times now. Let me tell you, it's been a week, but we're almost done. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm super excited. I am so sorry that I did not get a chance to finish out my day. I promise I'm getting better at remembering you guys, but life is crazy. I usually ask for you guys' prayer requests, but if you could pray for me in the comments, or just keep me in your prayers, because your girl's going through it. But I'm so excited to be talking to you guys about my new position, which is like a lead teacher, especially I'm getting a lot of practice over the summer. And so I do have another lead teacher that I'm with, and he's amazing. Shout out to him, Mr. P. I love and appreciate you so much. Literally the only way I'm getting through this summer, on top of all the other things, which is why I had to take a break. But I'm back, and hopefully you guys can get this video very, very soon. So yes, prayer requests are very much appreciated. Love you guys, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, or share this with another teacher friend down below. That would be amazing. So in this video, we're talking about backwards design. I had to basically plan all the instruction or give out the scope and sequence for my teachers, because I do believe that teachers should be internalizing their lessons, making their lessons, although it shouldn't be from scratch. You should have a narrow focus of where you're going. So the goal is for teachers to be able to know where they're headed so that they know how to get students to where they need to be. Alrighty, so when you're planning backwards for instruction, when you're backwards planning or backwards designing a lesson, the first thing that teachers should do is know what the students should know and be able to do. Because if you're trying to lead a horse to go drink water, if you don't know where the water is, then how are you going to lead them students to be able to do that? And I know I just talked to another teacher mentor friend over the phone this morning, and she was like, sometimes districts just tell you, boom, teach this. But you have to be able to internalize, even think for yourself, or how to do the process, whether it's math, ELA, social studies, whatever. You have to be able to realize what you're doing first. That's step number one, then be able to teach it. So if you don't know where your students should be headed, then how are you going to design backwards? Like, where are we going backwards from? We don't know. Hopefully you should know. The second thing you should be able to do when you're backwards planning is break it down into weeks or days. I like to plan in weeks because it's just better that way, especially now that I'm a second year teacher and I know what I'm doing. Still learning every day. I'm not perfect by no means, I want to say that, but I do believe that we all learn from each other. And yes, we're still learning. If I am saying a student should be able to write 4 paragraphs, for example, our summer is 4 weeks now. So I planned for week 1, 2, 3, and 4, like what we're doing as a whole. And these came from data points. If you're not in education, then you know that data runs literally everything. If your data is not moving or students aren't learning and showing what they know and are able to do on the test, then I'm not saying none of it matters, because some students are not good test takers, but it's hard to see if your teaching is effective if it's not being shown on tests, exit tickets, whatever. But going back to step number 2 is deciding if you should plan in a week or in a day. How are you planning it out? So going back to my example with summer school, we have 4 weeks of instruction, and it's more based off the data, like I said, where we are filling in the holes for our students. So for math, for example, we know that our students have struggled with being able to do the fundamentals like add, subtract, multiply, divide. So those are skills that whatever that student needs to be working on, boom, this is a way to help them. And then towards the final 2 weeks, because math, it can be repetitive and it may take a few weeks depending on where that student is at. But towards the last 2 weeks, we're working on geometry. Apparently, some people say that we shouldn't be teaching geometry or just take the whole geometry module out when they're going to be tested on it on their state assessment. Make it make sense. It's a lot of confusing things what people are telling you to do, but you know what's best for your students. And I'm glad that during the summer that they have opportunity to go ahead and close a lot of those achievement gaps and fill in those holes so that when it comes down to the test, they're able to be successful because they have the skills and the knowledge to show that they're able to do whatever skill, practice, area of problem solving that they are able to do. I don't believe into teaching to a test, but I do believe that you can't test students on things that you haven't explicitly taught them, if that makes sense. I know that's a no-brainer. Like if we're learning how to cut apples and then during the test you learn how to cut a watermelon, which is totally 2 different sizes, 2 different type of fruit as well. Step number 2 is, like I said, deciding where are we planning. Step number 3 is go ahead and design or figure out or actually do the exit ticket or the check for understanding that you're having students show you their knowledge from. If you are teaching a whole test or a whole school year, you haven't done not one assignment that you're asking students to do, how are you going to know what their misconceptions can be or misunderstandings or where you may need to reteach or having a second, third teach? Or maybe they have that all together. How are we going to fill in some gaps in small groups? I love teaching small groups. I am a small group fanatic. I actually did a whole December. If you're new here, I usually do December during December, my birthday month. I cannot wait for my birthday, but that's 6 months from now. But I did do a whole December playlist for what I was doing in small groups and things like that. 7 like a mini series video. So go ahead and check that out. I'll leave that in the cards right here. During small groups, you need to be able to address those misunderstandings. But I think I'm not a veteran teacher, but as a teacher who has some season in the game as well, I'm a seasoned teacher, or I have 2 years under my belt, but I've learned some things along the way. Who I am as my first year teacher, as opposed to my second year teacher, now going into my third year teacher, it's like 2 totally different scenarios, to be honest. But I now know that instead of wasting instruction time, because you don't really have that much instruction time, especially if students are absent or you have to change bell schedules. If you don't know what students are supposed to be doing for the exit ticket, it's going to be hard to explain that, or even before they turn in their exit tickets or check for understanding, whiteboards, whatever you're doing, paper, pencil, however you like to check for understanding, I would suggest before you go ahead and do that, make sure that your first teach is as best as it can be so that you're not having to go back and forth. Now that I know things that a lot of students have tripped up on in year 1, year 2, now I'm able to have a strong first teach my first time so that there are less of those misunderstandings. So now that you know the misconceptions or where students may make common mistakes, it is smart to go ahead and embed those into your lesson. I know some teachers may not agree with this, but teaching students the wrong way to do it, like the wrong way to write a sentence or the wrong way to solve a math problem, can actually trigger their brain and be like, oh shoot, I didn't put a period or I didn't put a capital letter. They're able to now grade their own work because you're not constantly having to go and look back at them. Or even solving a problem wrong for math. I'm trying to give you guys more math examples even though I'm in ELA. But if you solve a problem wrong in math, oh shoot, how did I get this wrong? Or why would I carry the 1 here, whatever you're teaching. Explaining why you're doing what you're doing and having students do the I do, we do, you do, very explicitly do I do, we do, you do, and give students opportunity to fail, whether it's in groups with partners and then also a chance to do it with you. So now that you know what your students should know and be able to do, the last thing is make sure that students are prepared. Now this one actually touches my heart a lot because I know some teachers that don't teach grade level content necessarily because our students are so low. Yes, we all went through the same horrific whatever happened in 2019 or whatever, or 2020. But at what point are we going to stop making those excuses for our students because they still have to rise to the occasion? For example, if I teach 3rd grade, but I know some babies don't have all those skills needed for that grade, I am going to maybe in small group or while I'm walking around, going ahead and filling in those gaps or those misunderstandings. Being able to be in front of your students, you have to be at least 10 or 5 steps ahead of your students. I have seen teachers literally go and do their lesson the night before, try to learn it, and then do it the next day. It's just not as good when you have already planned a few lessons ahead so that you know where they should be, or just at least plan the module, plan the unit or whatever you're teaching, so that when it's time to teach your students, you already know what they should know and be able to do, and you're able to boom, fix that there, boom, fix it there. Oh, I already know you made this mistakes, or even better yet, having them tell you how to fix their mistakes is true learning. And I love backwards planning. I'm actually backwards planning for kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade. I can take you guys along that journey as well. You guys normally during the school year see a lot of weekly vlogs, and I'm trying to get better at doing some instruction that I know instruction just has my heart, and backwards planning is something that I like to do. If you want to see more videos on that, comment that down below. Comment down below as well, what is your favorite step in the backwards planning or designing process? It's similar to scope and sequence, but instead of scope and sequence week by week, like 1, 2, 3, 4, it's starting with week 10 and going to week 1. I could talk about this all day long. I truly love you guys. I hope you guys are doing amazing, having an amazing summer. It is really hot, so make sure you drink your water and stay out of the heat. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.